like to call this meeting of the Show Little City Council to order. Show that all council members are present, except for Councilman Alsop that has to be excused tonight. Tonight, I've asked Councilman Adams to lead us in the invocation, followed by the Vice Mayor to lead us in the pledge. If you all like to stand and join us.
Our Heavenly Father, we are very grateful to come before Thee this evening as a city council and community. We are grateful for our beautiful area that we live in, Father, and the people that are here, and especially our youth, and how exciting it is for them to experience such a beautiful area to live. Father, we pray that as we go throughout this meeting, that we'll be able to have Thy Spirit here, and we'll be able to discuss those things that need to be dealt with this evening. Father, we pray for those people around the world who may be struggling and have war, that please be with them and comfort them in this time of challenge in their lives. We're grateful for all of our blessings. We say these things in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Adams and Vice Mayor Kakavas. I appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is call to the public. Any citizen desire to speak on a matter that is within the jurisdiction of the city council may do so at this time. I do have one. Cougar Pride Robotics, Trevor, Ryan, and Gabrielle, you'd like to address us?
Hello, my name is Trevor Owens, and I am the club president for Cougar Pride Robotics. Thank you, Mayor Leach and Show Little City Council, for letting us have this opportunity to come or to share some exciting information with you and with the Show Little community. First, our varsity robotics team, Cougar Pride Robotics 8087, had the privilege to host the inaugural first Tech Challenge tournament 2 weeks at Show Little High School. And we had 14 teams successfully build robots and compete in the opening weekend tournament. Our team would like to thank over over 50 volunteers that took time to help us make this event a success. One particular volunteer was Mayor Leach, who spent his day with us as a judge. Thank you, Mayor Leach, and I would like to introduce our Vice President, Ryan Weena.
Our team wants to take a moment and thank City Manager Morgan Brown and the City of Show Little for supporting the team legislative outreach event last May. First Robots Day at the Arizona Legislature. The team had asked Mr. Brown if the city could reach out on the behalf prior to Legislative Day. During the day, we had an opportunity to meet the Senator Rogers, Representative David Cook, and Representative Davd Marshall. We recently received notification that Arizona Legislative Representative David Cook allocated our team $10,000. These funds helped our effort to build robots, complete, and inspire others. This year we have doubled our robotics program, as we are also mentoring a junior varsity Cougar Pride Robotics team. They will be competing in their second competition this weekend in Flagstaff. The varsity team wishes them good luck.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Warwick, and I am the team's secretary and treasurer. And at this time, we would want to invite Mayor Leach, the City Council, and our Great White Mountain community to join us on Saturday, January 6th for our 2024 First Robotics Challenge Reveal Party, Seresto presented by Haas. We will be hosting the event in our robotics lab at Show Little High School starting at 9:30. More details can be found on our Facebook page, Cougar Pride Robotics, team number 8087.
And lastly, and our teams that are watching us from our robotics lab tonight, we'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and thank you for giving us this time to speak to you guys.
Thank you, appreciate it. Just real quick, I did get to spend a day with you guys, and it was it was a great experience judging. I didn't know what to expect for sure, but I had a great time, and I plan on doing it again in the future. But thank you guys for inviting me to judge. I did have a great time. Thank you.
Coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, at this time on the agenda, we're going to move to the consent calendar. I will look for a motion to proclamation by the mayor proclaiming December 2023 Ashola Junior High Softball League Championship Month. Proclaimed by the mayor proclaiming December 2023 Ashola Junior High 8th Grade Football League Championship Month. Consideration of resolution number R 2023 approving mutual aid. Consideration of approval of proposed fiscal year 2025 budget calendar. Consideration of resolution number R 2322 rescinding resolution number 2010-39. Consideration of minutes of the Shoalo City Council meeting on November 7th, 2023. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
Got a motion, I got a second. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed unanimously. Okay, next item. Proclaimed by mayor proclaiming December 2023 Ashola Junior High Softball League Championship Month of the city of Shoalo.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Whereas the Shoalo Junior High softball team was crowned the White Mountain League champions with an undefeated season record of 17-0. And whereas on Saturday, October 7th, 2023, the Shoalo Junior High school softball team also won the White Mountain League softball tournament. And whereas the city of Shoalo recognizes excellence and dedication by the players, their parents, the coaching staff, the administration, the student body, and the community. And whereas the city of Shoalo recognizes outstanding sportsmanship by the players, their fans, and their coaches. And whereas the city of Shoalo recognizes each player's desire, determination, and discipline with the team's collective determination. Now, therefore, John Leach Jr., Mayor, on behalf of the Shoalo City Council, does hereby proclaim December 2023 as Shoalo Junior High Softball League Championship Month in the city of Shoalo and urges all citizens in the community to acknowledge this tremendous achievement.
Thank you. If I could have the coaches come up, whoever would like to. Congratulations on a great season. Appreciate it very much. You bet. Congratulations. And at this time, if you'll stay up here, Coach, because we probably want some pictures taken. We got a little gift from the council for each of the players.
Abby Boggs, you could come up.
Congratulations.
Abigail Umphress. Aaliyah Lane. Ariana Rivera. Ella Lee. Bentley Garvin. Kinsley Warren. Lainey Matkin. Liliana Perez. Lindy Wallentine. Kelly Rawlings. Payson Sloan. Kenny.
Move down a little bit.
Presley Ramses.
Arms will straight down your arm. Mar was getting too short.
Reagan Hall. Ruthie Wilhelm. Riley Wyatt. Desmond Moya. have, I'm assuming these are the coaches. We have Ashley Umphris,
Come on up.
Danny, you got yours. Adonna Wallace. Marion Walentine. Stephanie Davis.
Now you guys can squeeze together. There might be some parents that want some pictures. And we'll get out of your way. Let's go, Lily.
Stay there. I don't know how JC Robinson got left out, but she just graduated and she was there almost every day helping these girls. So I want to make sure that JC is recognized. Thank you, JC.
Let's go, Liliana. One.
Jay will have to work on it.
We'll get her a shirt. We just took care of it. Thank you, yes, we'll get her a shirt.
She put in a lot of time.
Yeah, we'll make sure she gets a shirt. Absolutely, thank you, guys. Congratulations, that's awesome. Keep going forward, take that all the way to high school, would you? We'd like to see you every year for the next, what grade you in? Eighth, so we need 4 more years, we'll see you guys in 4 years. Okay, next item on the agenda, proclaimed by the mayor, proclaiming December 2023 as Show Low Junior High 8th grade football league champion month in the city of Show Low. Mrs. Hall.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Whereas the Show Low Junior High 8th grade football team was crowned the White Mountain League champions with an undefeated season record of 7-0. And whereas the city of Show Low recognizes excellence and dedication by the players, their parents, coaches, and support staff, the school administrators, the student body, and the community. And whereas the city of Show Low recognizes outstanding sportsmanship by the players, their fans, and their coaches. And whereas the city of Show Low recognizes each player's commitment, discipline, and desire, and the team's collective determination. Now, therefore, John Leach Jr., Mayor, on behalf of the Show Low City Council, does hereby proclaim December 2023 as Show Low Junior High 8th grade Football League Championship Month in the city of Show Low and urges all citizens in the community to acknowledge this tremendous achievement.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. We'll give them a minute to get in here. Who is the coaches? Huh? Hal, can I get you up here for a minute? And stay up here, we'll get the whole team up here. Congratulations, all of you. I can tell you I have a granddaughter that cheered for you this year. So I got to go watch a couple games, and it amazed me how you guys were, I was just telling Councilman Clark, you guys were football players. It was amazing to watch, and congratulations. You guys did a great job, and like I just told the girls softball, take this to high school, would you? We want you back for the next 4 years, so we'd appreciate you take this all the way to high school in your senior years and bring us another championship. But congratulations, but we got a gift for each of you.
Okay, we're going to start with Christopher Gamboa.
Congratulations.
Caleb White.
Congratulations.
Corbin Wood. Alexander Perez.
Oh, like that. Congratulations.
Daniel Hagan,
Congratulations.
Rigdon Lewis,
Congratulations.
Kevin Mallett,
Congratulations.
Santiago Castaneda,
Congratulations.
Jacob Pike, Brennan Bunting, Jesse Kemper, William Gibbons, Cody Kenny, Jacob Scott,
Congratulations.
Louise Roman, Gabriel Louise,
Congratulations.
Kristen Southworth, Cal Tapia, Dylan Perkins, Austin Patton, Gabrielle Arona, Greg Brewer, Travis Johnson, Aries Henderson, Jay Camp, Jay Camp, Noah Taylor, Jack Willis, Jace Ortiz, Alexander
Congratulations.
Lamar Rockbridge,
Hang on.
he only has one eye.
Well, we didn't put it in here that way. Congratulations.
Ryder Lewis,
Congratulations.
Brian McFadden, Aiden Pastel, McFadden. Aiden Pastel.
Well, he's in this box somewhere. There he is, right there.
Caden Judd, Vincent Meha,
Congratulations.
A.G. Martin, they say that right?
How is it?
Gage.
Gage.
Congratulations. Way to work, buddy.
G-A-J-E.
G-A-J-E. Gage.
Okay. Dallas Roy, Connor McCaleb,
Congratulations.
then we have head coach Hal Frost, which is James Turner.
Congratulations.
And our own Councilman Bryce Judd.
You guys are welcome to come up front and take pictures if you'd like. All the kids are here. They're not at home, that's for sure. I think they brought the whole city.
Yeah. 40 kids.
40? Oh, look at. You guys want to squeeze up?
Yeah.
Guys, get up. All council, get up and stand next to him, please.
Who are we? Who are we?
What football do we play? Cougar football.
Who are we? We'll see you guys the next 4 years. Who are we? Who are we? Atta boys. Yeah. Congratulations again. We'll see you next year.
Great job.
Boys.
Thank you, boys.
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. Dallas
You guys can stand at the back if you want. And then-
Santa Fe High School graduating. Are you going to say something, or is he?
I wanted to say something, but he's. I told him that we might have him say something.
Hey, if you guys stick around just one more minute before you leave, I think the coach would like to address you all. Before you leave, please. Hang on just 1 minute. Hal, do you want to say something, or you want? No? Councilman Judd?
Get back up there, last chance, get up. Go
This is your last chance to talk to him, Hal.
Yeah.
Nothing like peer pressure.
So the first thing I'll say is I'm going to ask them to come back up and pick up all their wrappers that they left from their hoodies.
Thank you.
That'd have been the softball team, but we're going to take care of it anyway. Just an awesome group. You see, one of the coolest parts about our team this year is there was a lot of us.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I think made us a good football team is that we had a lot of team, right? We had a lot of practice, and so we were able to practice together, and it was good to see them come together and gel. And we had a lot of kids that got a lot of playing time, and so it was a lot of fun. They're good kids. I am lucky enough to work at the school too, and to get to see them off the football field as well, and see them in the classroom. And so it's been a joy to work with these guys and watch them kind of grow on and off the football field. So it's been a pleasure. We had great coaches. The admin teams always supported us and made it easy for us to do what we needed to do to help these young men become good football players and hopefully better men. So, and the parents were awesome. We had great crowds wherever we were lucky this year. We only had one away game, so most of them are home for us. And so lots of people in the stands cheering us on and supporting us. And so it was awesome. Good season.
Awesome. Congratulations again. Did anybody else have any comments?
Just real quick, I'd like to also thank the administrators. We know there's a lot you guys do behind the scene. All the parents, especially, you guys have raised great kids. We recognize that you do a lot more than we do, and you guys are awesome. You got amazing kids. The coaches and these kids are amazing. I volunteered to help with Hal, thinking I was going to give something, and I got way more out of this than I gave. So I thank you. We love your kids, and we had a great time. Thanks.
Thank you guys very much. Congratulations. We'll see you next year and the next 4 years. Take it to high school, please. Congratulations.
Thanks, Hal.
Judd.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
You want to take these?
Hal?
Hal?
Some-
Yeah. I was going to give them the. Thank you. Congratulations. That was Santa Fe High School. It's cool we do that.
Yeah, I love it.
God, it'd be go anywhere. I even think of that when we do the pledge and, you know, we give prayer every meeting. It's just amazing.
Really unique. A lot of places don't do that.
And maybe they're too big or maybe they don't care. I don't know.
I think that's it. But I mean, you know, most of the people who are there, their kids are, I went to high school with, so it's like this is multi-generational.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Doesn't everyone want to stay? We're talking about the budget. What's going on?
I complain when something goes wrong
We're
though.
gonna talk about your tax dollars. You might want to turn around. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a presentation of annual comprehensive fiscal report for fiscal year 2023. Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and council members. Tonight we have Chantry Jensen here from Hinton Burdick to give you a financial report on the audit, but I just wanted to quickly talk about some of the work that's being done in the finance department. You've probably seen it in the manager's memo, but we received the Triple Crown from the Government Finance Officers Association for the third time this year. It's a pretty big achievement. It's the Distinguished Budget Award, the Popular Annual Financial Report, and the Excellence in Financial Reporting. So I'd like to thank Carrie Bilby for all of her work to make that happen for the city. I think it demonstrates to our residents that we're being very responsible and taking care of the tax dollars and spending them well. So with that said, I'd like to bring Chantry up and we'll let him get started with the presentation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Hinton Burdick. We sure enjoyed doing the Sholo audit. We really like working with the crew there. You got a great staff. They do a great job. And every year gets better, which in the audit world is something that's kind of not popular. Let's put it that way. As we go through some things, we'll just hit some highlights. We'll try and talk plain English and skip all the accounting lingo. Overall, it was great. This year went really well. Our audit report was a clean opinion. No material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies as far as the internal controls. No issues with the state compliance. And then also the single audit also didn't have any issues with your federal monies, so that was good. Just a couple of highlights. Net position was 168 million, and net position increased about 13.9. Over time, net position is a great indicator of where the city's health is at. So you guys are doing an amazing job. Kind of skip a little further. Capital assets overall was an increase. Obviously, depreciation takes a big hit every year. A couple of significant additions this year. Not too many disposals. The business type funds also had additions in capital assets, about 5.7, and then usually a few deletions every year, which is normal. Debt did increase. We had that 2021 bond finally hit the books, so it's been enacted and is moving forward. So there was an increase there. Overall total debt about 600,000. Debt service payments will be a little bit larger in the coming years just with that new debt. So you'll just be aware of that. General fund increased from prior year fund balance to 33 million, which is really great. Unassigned fund balance 33, which is about 151 of total general fund expenditures. So that's a really good position to be in. Let's see, kind of skip through some of that. We'll go to the fun stuff here. Just some trends here we want to look at and highlight. Obviously upward trends are positive and you guys are, in that perfect track. So general fund's looking great there. There was an increase in cash, which is a a really good measurement, especially where inflation is so up in the air in the last few years. So with a big reserve of cash, that's helpful because it's hard to adjust for general fund revenues so in a quick manner. So if you've got good cash reserves, that will really help you if things have to adjust with inflation. So that's a really important one to note. So you're doing good there. Revenues and expenditures. Obviously, general fund's not that it's not there to make money, but it is there to sustain the city. So we'll move on to a couple of revenues. Sales tax revenue up again. Not a whole lot other than that. Just some other tax revenues, again, upwards trends. Pretty consistent with growth, so we're happy with that.
Can you just maybe explain a little bit of what other means?
Other, yeah, let's go back there.
That one.
So here we've got franchise and vehicle, state sales tax, and then urban revenue sharing.
Okay. There.
So those are just some of the other major revenues that we wanted to highlight there.
Right side.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. Highway user fund, just excluding transfers, will be pretty consistent on revenues, which is expected, and then obviously with projects going on, it'll fluctuate on your expenses. So 23 had a big jump, getting projects done there. Similar to the cash fund, it should stay about normal, which it is, so that's great. Go to the water fund, pretty average, nothing unexpected that we came across. Obviously things are costing more, so we expect costs to kind of grow. Cash trend, again, upwards, so that looks great. Wastewater, let's see. Yeah, net operating losses for 2 of the last 5 years, but other than that, really pretty consistent. Something we did want to note with that, where these are proprietary funds and they're made to make more money. As you're looking for in future years for infrastructure, growth, and that kind of thing, you want to make sure you're planning far enough ahead that you can accumulate those revenues over time to be able to replace those big major improvements in the years to come. So that's something that we wanted to let you know about. There's the cash trend for the wastewater, and just nice and moving up. Kind of think this is last, just the internal service fund. Obviously the COVID years, you can see, kind of looked like a mess. And then it looks like it's going to start kind of getting back to normal, which a lot of things are, so not too unexpected there. And also the cash trend, again, just nice and steady, moving up. So, and then this last one is just kind of an overall major fund balances, comparing 22 to 23. A little bit of growth in each one, which looks great, and that's what we expect. So overall, the city's doing great. Again, just want to thank Justin and Carrie. There's so much extra time that they put into the work of the audit that makes our lives easier, that makes the audit go much better, faster, quicker, and can't thank them enough for it. So kudos to them and to everyone else that works under them and helps with everything there. So any questions?
So since they do such a fantastic job, that means our rates should decrease from you guys, right? We get such a discount because
Actually, we're going to
they do 90% of your work. Is that what?
And this year, correct. And this year we actually tried, as a firm, we've been trying to do more remote work, trying to be more efficient, reduce travel. And this year we asked Carrie and Justin, hey, could we try remote this year? And so we did. And we'll see how the end result comes out. But we think it went pretty well. Carrie seems to think she worked a little bit less, so I don't know if that's good or bad. But
Don't say that yet, Carrie. Wait till our rate comes down. Does anybody got any questions or comments? No comments?
I have a quick comment.
Go ahead. Councilman.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to Justin and Morgan and Carrie. You guys do an awesome job. And I noticed our tax revenue, I think we had another record and it keeps going up. And people keep coming to our beautiful town. And I know they're not coming to see me. They're coming here because you guys have made the city employees have made our city beautiful and kept the streets clean and all the landscaping looking good, the parks. So thank you guys.
That's all.
Thanks, staff, for all their hard work. I know this is a lot of work, and I just want to thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
Ditto, ditto, ditto. Thank you guys for everything you do. So there's nothing we need to be aware of then. I went through it briefly this weekend when I had some time and everything looked normal, so.
Well, if you want a really good read, go ahead and start reading through the financial and you'll fall asleep about page 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I just stayed awake through that little part of it. Press your luck here now.
Yep. So anyway, thank you and
Thank you.
look forward to working with you again.
Right, appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin, Carrie, very much. Okay, next item on the agenda under special events is wastewater master plan presentation. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm happy to have Mike Krebs and Kyle Smith here to do a presentation on the recently completed water master plan. Staff thinks it's a great document. We've got a really good model of our system, and we've been working with PACE Advanced Water Engineering. Yes. They were the designers for our wastewater treatment plant starting in about 2020 or about 2014. So almost 10 years we've been working with these guys. They also performed on the water SCADA system design and installation, and then this master plan. So without and I'm sorry.
Tank 8.
Oh, and also our tank 8. Anymore? Okay.
Where's that at?
It's at Torion, next to that other tank. And I think that's a picture of it right there, actually, on your screens. So that was just finished this summer. Anyway, without further ado, I just want to turn it over to Mike and Kyle, and they've got a few slides that want to explain what's in our report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Operate this. There it is. Okay. Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to talk about water. It's kind of a continuing discussion of, providing for the community, and it's just in a little bit different format. It's water, and we all know how valuable that is, particularly with all the discussions of droughts and everything else going on. So, and this is I always in my mind had this as a document that would be, I want to call it a living document that the city can use for the next 20 years to help ensure that the quality of water and the water reaches all the public and all the visitors, and so you don't have problems with that. So we have about 10 slides that we just want to walk through quickly. I'll get started here. And so the objectives, as we sat down with staff, and it's been great working with staff, but to, again, analyze the history of what's going on today, what's happened in the past, what's going on current, and then look at future demands and to ensure that the system is ready to handle that future growth. Evaluate its reliability, redundancy as related to supply, storage, and distribution. Develop a model, hydraulic model, so you can understand how the system's operating. Identify deficiencies and recommend capital improvement plan and any potential operational changes that we may see in the process. And then establish that 20-year capital plan for improvements. So your system is a complex system. Obviously, you've got a lot of different elevations. We say 4 pressure zones, but within that, there's 14 different pressure zones that are in the system. About 190 miles of pipeline. groundwater wells, 18 that, and you're adding more. Booster stations, storage tanks, we added an additional tank in tank 8. Pressure reducing stations, it says 31 locations, but within that, there's an excess of 40 actually pressure reducing valves in the system. And then your customers, so about 8,600. So you have, I call it a complex system because if you look at the numbers, if you set aside the pipe and the customers and look at it, you have about 100 different facilities, components that you're dealing with. And the important things that I would say about that, and I didn't mean to click it, I'm not sure how to get it back, but the important thing I'll say about that is two things. Thanks. With this system, what we have found that is that your staff, Public Works, engineering, operations, your operators that are running the system are doing an incredible job with this complex system. And, with all the different zones and the people and the added stress on it during the summer when you've got more visitors up here and during all those times. So I commend them and you all for having such a great staff and for them doing such an excellent job with that. The other piece of that then ties in with the modeling. I just want to mention briefly the modeling. And so we look at, as we said, current and future demands of the system. And so historic water use that we're looking at today is about 2.3 million gallons a day is what's being utilized throughout the system. And with that, we noticed a non-revenue of less than 10%. And kind of what does that mean? That means a lot of communities would say that's a loss. So water gets lost, whether it's through, pipe, valves, systems, and it goes away. You pump, what you pump up and what you use, and you just look at the difference between that. But this number is really incredible. And again, says to how well your staff is doing, because of this 10%, part of it is the irrigation that you all have added to make the city, beautiful along Deuce of Clubs. And let's say that's half. And so maybe you have a 5% loss. Most communities have about 20% loss. So it's a testament to your system, the quality and the staff and the great job that they're doing. So I just wanted to point that out to you. So we know what it is today, and so now it's a matter of getting the model to match what's going on out there. So again, that's a lot of iterations that we go through with the staff to ensure that the modeling is duplicating what's going on in reality. And then we look at the future growth. So future growth, and this map is taken basically from the general plan. And so we look at population to grow at about a 1.5 annual growth rate. So from today of 12,300 to 20 years from now, you're looking at 16,600 at that growth rate. And so we looked at a residential planning areas, 11 of them that make up about 1,600 additional residential housing units. And if you look at the map, it's the yellow areas there. And we even name, each one of them to help. Torreon is one of them, and the Torreon Lakes. And so that's where we obtained the growth to look at that and see how the system handles that growth. And so with that growth, we're looking at a demand that went from today at 2.3 million to just over 3 million. So it's about 700,000 gallons a day of increased water demand on the system. So with that, I kind of just wanted to lay the groundwork and give you some ideas of what, what our objectives were and some of the initial items. What I'd like to do is turn it over to Kyle. Kyle has really been in depth into the system, and he knows it very well and is going to walk through the remaining parts of it. But I will encourage you, and if there's any questions now, to ask. It's always helpful because it may generate other questions. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them at this point.
Vice Mayor.
On the non-revenue water, you say that it's less than 10%. And while that's low, considering average communities, in the plan, does it talk about ways to reduce that even further and retain more than?
Yes, and again, I think, and I don't know what the percentage is. We really didn't get a chance to look at that. But if we just said that the water usage that you irrigate with along the highway is included in that number, right? So if that's 5%, you have 5%, and ways to reduce it is just to keep an eye on it, one, and make sure it doesn't grow, and then just try to pay attention. Like a lot of communities will, and I don't know off the top of my head the last time the water meters were replaced, but that's usually a big culprit, because they break down or they'll start leaking, and because they might be 15 years old or something along those lines.
Yeah, and we have a pretty robust water meter replacement program.
Right. I thought you did. I just didn't know the knowledge and background of it.
Every year we budget for new meters, and we go after the older areas, and we're in really good shape with the meter replacement.
Well, thank you for giving our Public Works an attaboy, because we do a lot and we probably don't give them enough. I know that the post office probably isn't going to get into that 10% to make that go any higher, because they don't know what water means. And I hope they're watching. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate that.
Kyle?
Oh, man.
Okay, so now that we know kind of the existing demands and the future demands, what we need to do is analyze the existing system to see the supply and storage needs now and in the future. So generally, storage and supply requirements are equated to the maximum amount of water used in a single day. This is called the maximum day demand. It typically occurs in summer months when it's hotter and irrigation demands are the highest. So groundwater wells and pump stations, those need to be able to pump the maximum day demand rate to be able to maintain the levels in the tank. So as the tank drains throughout the day, the pumps and wells need to be able to keep that level up. And so the results of our analysis show that the current production by the groundwater wells has enough supply to meet the maximum day demand up through 2038. And then after 2038, that deficit is only around 200 gallons a minute. And so to overcome that, there's actually 3 existing well sites in the system. They're not operating currently. Those were constructed by private water companies that were acquired by the city in the past, but they weren't placed into the system. So those just need to be upgraded, and that'll allow you to meet the demand requirements through 2043.
I guess I didn't understand. Can you say that again about the ones that we inherited? Say we need to upgrade them all?
Yeah, so there's 3 well sites that were, there's more sites and lines obtained from other private water companies, but these 3 particular sites, they're not in operating currently.
Okay.
So they just need to be upgraded.
And I think staff has that in their targets before when we started.
That's kind of where I was leaning next.
So we have been looking at rehabbing some of the old wells that were offline when we purchased these systems, and it turns out that they're actually fairly good producing wells. So there's one on 18th Ave up above your house.
Very important one.
There's one at 19th Ave, and then also we just acquired a well up in Cholo Bluff with a lot trade, and that one we've actually got the pipeline constructed that's going to connect that well to the system. We just need to get through ADEQ and get all the permitting stuff done for that. So we will have 2 new wells coming on very soon. 2 new old wells.
2 new old wells. Okay, that's where I was.
And the important part about that is because those are existing wells, the wells are already drilled, so the cost to put those into service is less than drilling a brand new well.
Okay, thank you.
In addition to those well improvements, we also recommend some site-specific improvements for some pump stations in locations where the pump stations need to operate continuously to provide pressure. Most of the system, there's tanks that are elevated that provide pressure, but there's some higher elevation areas that then have pump stations from the tanks that serve the community. And in those locations, we're recommending backup power generators, so that way if there's a power outage, you can continue to supply those areas. In addition to that, additional pumps at those pump stations, because currently those pump stations have enough capacity to meet the demand, but if there's a single pump that goes out, the capacity drops. So basically we're saying have an extra redundant pump. So if there is one pump out of service, the pump station still meets capacity. Any questions on this so far?
Good to go.
So moving on to storage. Storage is also needs to be able to store the maximum day demand volume. In addition, there needs to be a reserve supply available for firefighting. So zones 1, 2, and 3. I know those probably don't mean much to you, but on the map earlier we had 1, 2, and 3. Those are all fine. Zone 4 is the only one that needs additional storage. And let me just step back. 1, 2, and 3 have enough storage through 2043 with the existing storage they have. Zone 4, which is in the kind of eastern half of the city around the industrial areas around the airport and Shola Bluff, that needs some additional storage in 2028. And if we project forward to 2043, the total storage to have enough storage until 2043 is about 500,000 gallons, which is about the same size tank that's in that zone currently. So we're suggesting basically a second tank next to the existing one for 2028.
Did we talk about putting another tank out there at the airport, or was that?
This is actually at, in Shola Bluff, tank 13 and well 13.
Okay.
So tank 13 has a space for a sister tank. It's all the plumbing and everything is in place. We have the land, so when the time comes,
Okay.
it's very similar to what we did at tank 8. That site was designed for a second tank. So the same thing's gonna happen up at Shola Bluff too.
Okay. Thank you.
Will be the same size tank?
Now moving on to the hydraulic model, and Mike kind of mentioned this before. So far we looked at overall storage and supply needs of the system as a whole, but to be able to look at the distribution system on a more detailed level, to look at kind of the available pressures and flows at each part of the city requires a more dynamic analysis. And so to do that, we developed a hydraulic model, which is basically a computer simulation of the system. And in order to do that, the city has an existing GIS map that has parcel and utility information. So we basically built upon that. We imported the data from that GIS map into the hydraulic modeling software. And that allows us to kind of see a functioning representation of the system. So that way now and in the future, you can make a change in the model and predict kind of what the system's going to change to in the future. So we spent a lot of time working with staff in developing this model, updating the GIS, verifying the size and location of existing facilities, and taking field pressure and flow measurements to make sure that that model directly simulated what's occurring today in the system. And that way, if we modulate the existing system, then we know when we make future changes, we'll be able to match that. And that time spent developing the model improved the quality and allowed us to provide better recommendations. And so those system parameters that we tested with the model, again, is the available pressures throughout the distribution system, as well as fire flow available at the hydrants throughout the system.
I look at that model, these scales that you have over there, and I see 1A, 3A. Think of hunting. I don't know about areas what that means. It looks like hunting units, but those, do we have bigger pictures of that last one somewhere? Do we? I'm just curious of this. That was the size pipe throughout the city, right? The last picture he just showed?
Yeah, this one here.
No, the back one.
I don't know how to go back.
Oh, you just did. Remember, there you go. Go the other way.
That one.
Yeah.
Is that size
That's the
Water pipes
size of the lines, right?
all through the city of Show Low?
And that was all in the existing GIS that the
GIS.
city had.
Okay.
So that's the data. We basically took out in the location and size of all of the pipelines.
So that's our map. Okay. Okay, thank you.
So moving on to the model results. So going into pressure, in the chart on the right there, I know there's a lot of colors and a lot of bars going on. The important thing there is if you see a kind of a normal distribution, everything's in the center. That center, that's kind of the ideal pressure range. So what we're showing there is pretty much the entire system is within that ideal range. There is some areas kind of on the fringes that have some lower pressure, some higher pressure, but the areas that have higher pressure, that's all within typical normal range of a distribution system. And on the lower end, it still meets all state and plumbing code requirements. And kind of you're going to have, with the topography here in the city and the drastic change in elevations, you're kind of always going to have those low pressure zones and those high pressure areas. You already have so many zones that it'd be hard to serve each house the exact same pressure. So there's going to be some fluctuation just because there's so many elevation changes. So nothing out of the ordinary.
Does that have a lot to do with, I think you made a comment about all the pressure reducer valves that we have, that's a pretty high amount. Does that have a lot to do with this too?
Yeah, so the reason you have so many pressure reducing valves is to regulate that pressure, to try to meet in the center of that graph, to try to get to 60 pounds. 'Cause you want, that's kind of the ideal pressure. And you know, you could probably add 100 more of those valves and maybe you can get perfect pressure at each house, but that's kind of unrealistic.
Right.
So with what you have now, 90% of the system is within that ideal range. And those.
So a computer generated animation right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you have higher pressures and lower pressures. If you have the same thing connected to it, these guys are being blown out of the water. So you put a pressure reducer in between to control that so it doesn't get too high. I mean, I think your house, like my house, I actually live close to one of the pumping stations in Scottsdale. I think I have 110 PSI at my house, but I have a reducer on it because they say the appliances can't have anything higher than 65 or something like that, so you have to drop it down. So it's the same kind of thought, but you're controlling zones with the same type of reducer. So the other thing I wanted, and maybe you're getting to this, is the different colors. So the blue represents the average day flows, the orange represents the max day flows, and the gray represents your peak hour flows. And all of those are important through the evaluation. And I didn't mean to jump in, but I think it's important to understand what those colors mean. And, you know, like your max hour might be 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. in the morning when everybody's getting ready, or in the evening when everybody's showering and cleaning dishes and, you know, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, so then what this chart is showing then is, even though you have those different demand conditions and the flow in each of those conditions varies drastically, so the fact that the trend is all the same is very good. Typically in the peak hour scenario, so 7 a.m. when everyone's taking a shower, you would see the pressures drop a lot because there's a ton of more flow in the system. But as you can see there, it's pretty much the same as the average day and max day. And moving on to the fire flow, again, pretty much the entire city meets the fire flow requirements. There are some areas that will need some pipeline improvements to increase the available fire flow. And these are primarily in areas that have smaller distribution pipelines. So we looked at that map earlier. There's some areas that have that are 4 inches and 6 inches. And a lot of these too were built by our older pipes, and a lot of them were built by the private water companies. They likely had different fire flow requirements when they were constructed. So we're just recommending improvements to increase those sizes, typically 8-inch or 12-inch, and that way you can get the required fire flow to those areas. And so here are the pipeline improvements we're recommending. We basically grouped all of the improvements into 7 projects. So it's a total of 2.7 miles of replacement. If you think back to the beginning slide, there's 190 miles total in the city. So 2.7 miles of replacement actually is really good. There's very little that needs to be replaced. The total cost there is 3.3 million, is what we're estimating. And in that kind of table of improvements we have in the report, we also kind of prioritize that based on the effect it has on the system. So the P1 and P2, those top projects, those have the greatest effect, the greatest improvement on the system. And the other improvements are smaller and kind of more localized in their benefit. But I mean, they're still important. But we know kind of there needs to be a priority list to address these.
Mayor, you had mentioned something about the zones. This is a better map too, to be able to.
Yeah, I can't
because
read
it's
that.
cleaner.
It's-
Okay.
That's pretty
But
small.
It has the
I wanna-
zones, it has the zones on those, and we have these, the staff has these maps in 11 by 17 that they could get, and, you know, they could be produced even bigger if that's what's needed.
Just more concerned of where that was at more than anything.
Yeah, sorry, the system's big, so it's hard to condense that onto a little slide.
Thought it was me.
So moving on to the 20-year CIP summary. So in addition to those pipeline improvements, there's 10 facility improvement projects that we're recommending. A lot of those are the ones we touched on earlier. What I want to note here is, so we showed the CIP total there being 7.3 million. Just wanted to note that's the improvements needed to meet existing and future to improve system performance to meet existing and future demands. That's not necessarily going to be the entire improvement project. You're going to have other projects to replace aging infrastructure. So as equipment and pipes age, you still need to account for those projects. What we're showing here mainly is the projects you need to match the current demand as well as match the future demand.
Excuse me, how far out into the future are you looking at again?
This is 20 years.
20 years.
So 2043.
Yeah.
The other important thing is there's a 7.3 million is the total cost there. Only about half of that is needed immediately within the next 5 years. So those are the pipeline improvement projects that we talked about, as well as those backup generators at the pump stations and additional pumping capacity. And then we move on to 2028. That's when the tank 13, the storage tank, would come into play. Then we jump forward to 2038 and 2043, and that's when those well improvements would be needed. I mean, it sounds like those are going to occur sooner, but we're just showing that's when those would come into play. With that, just want to thank you for your time, and if you have any more questions.
Thank you. Sorry if everybody was a little sideways on some of these numbers and these projects, but I think we all know how important water is, and it's nice to hear that our system is that well, because like I said, when you praised our public works, we do up here all the time, but it's nice an outsider comes in here and praises our staff like that. But is there any questions or? I mean, I got more, but more for staff, I think, moving forward when I get to see that blow it up a little more, because I want to see where those zones actually are and the priorities, because your priority might be your priority, but our priority might be totally different, and that's why I was kind of curious of where those are at. But that's more of a staff that I want to get with them for sure.
So I don't know, Bill, if you would agree with this, but I think our priorities were brought together with staff priorities, so
Right.
that, you know, we're not off here in la land, you know,
Sure.
saying, oh, you ought to do all this stuff. They know the system, and that's why it was so important for us to be communicating
Right.
often with them about what we were doing, what was going on, and, you know, so I think we were in concert with that.
Good. Okay.
Engineering and the operators too, so.
Right, yeah. Jeremiah was quite involved with a lot of this, as was Shane and you know, his work on it, so.
Okay, I appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? Thank you guys for coming up here. We appreciate it. Be working with you soon. Appreciate it. Thank you guys too. Okay, next item on the agenda under new business, consideration of appointment of planning and zoning commission members. Mrs. Hall.
Mayor, I need to declare conflict.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Thank you, guys. Safe trip home.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. Due to the resignation of Planning and Zoning Commissioner Jerem Lewis, there is a vacancy on the commission with the term expiring March 2025. Staff advertised the vacancy and received 5 applications. 5 applicants were interviewed by council tonight at a special meeting. It was prior to the regular meeting tonight. And each of you have been given a ballot showing the names of the 5 applicants. Council members should mark one choice on the ballot for the individual they wish to appoint. After you mark that, send it over to my way. I will tally the results and indicate the individual with the most votes, and then a formal motion may be made based on the results.
Absolutely can make a comment.
She's making that tally. I'd like to express our appreciation to all of the candidates that applied. We had 1 opening and 5 applicants, and rarely do we get that many applicants for a position like this. And we really appreciate your interest in serving our community and joining us in that effort and making our community even better than it currently is.
Thank you. Mayor Joshua Adams is the one with the most votes.
Joshua Adams?
Yes.
At this time, I entertain a motion to appoint Joshua Adams to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Councilman Hatch.
I would go ahead and form this. I would say yes.
You are making a motion to appoint Joshua Adams to Planning and Zoning. I have a motion. I need a second. I got a second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Again, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it, and I'm sure we're going to be in touch soon. We do have some other openings in other positions, and that's kind of why I asked you if you're interested. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Okay, next item on the agenda, consideration of award of construction contract for City Park pressure reducing valve water line replacement, City of Show Low project number W5523. Mr. Himsaw.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Speaking of PRVs, we'll add another one, right? The city's fiscal year 2024 capital improvement plan budget included $277,000 for a water line project labeled City Park AC replacement. The existing water line is currently 8-inch asbestos concrete pipe and requires routine maintenance. And the scope of the work includes construction of approximately 1,500 linear feet of new 8-inch C900 PVC water line, including fire hydrants, new water services, and required fittings. The scope of work also includes installing any concrete or pavement removed during the work as portions of the water line run under the existing pedestrian path. The installation of a pressure reducing station was added to the scope of work to allow for higher pressures to irrigate the higher baseball fields at the park. The work shall take place in the City Park in Show Low. City's engineering staff designed the project with a construction estimate of $330,000. The project was publicly bid in accordance with statutory requirements with the following results. Western Grade LLC at $447,427.50. Apache Underground Excavating, $459,755.00. HT4, $465,715.00, and Navapache Construction LLC at $497,911.06. Due to the rising construction costs, the excess funding to construct the project will come from the Fawnbrook Phase 1 project, which is currently under design, but is not likely to start construction until the next budget year. Staff recommends awarding the construction contract for the City Park PRV and waterline replacement, City of Show Low project number W5523 to Western Grade LLC in that amount not to exceed that $447,427.50, and authorize those associated budget transfers. The bid tab for the work is attached. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions or comments? Motions? Vice Mayor.
I move to award the construction contract for the City Park pressure reducing valve and water line replacement, City of Show Low project number W-5523 to Western Grade LLC in an amount not to exceed $447,427.50, and authorize the associated budget transfers.
I got a motion, I got a second by Councilman Adams. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. I don't know how you can see that. It's amazing. With both. Next item on the agenda, consideration of award of construction contract for city campus roof replacement, City of Shola project for FM 4233. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The City of Show Low extended, was this for the roof replacement?
Should be.
Windows.
Yeah, roof first.
Okay, I apologize.
We can go to the other one if you want. We don't, it's pretty, no, we're doing roof.
I guess my dog ate my homework. Does anyone have a copy of this?
Rachel's got to do everything.
My apologies.
That's okay. We're not perfect, that's for sure.
The city campus master plan includes funding for the replacement of roofs. The smaller of the two former classroom buildings is currently used as storage and for recreation programs. The roof is in poor condition, has had several leaking areas. This work will include the removal and disposal of the existing roof, deck preparation, underlayment, repairing damaged decking, removal and replacement of mechanical unit and conduit, and installation of approximately 9,500 square feet of new membrane roofing which meets the following specifications: GAF Everguard mule hide or approved equal, TPO 60 mil membrane with mechanical fasteners. The work also includes removing and replacing all pipe jacks, drip edges, and sealing all penetrations. The selected contractor will provide all labor, materials, and equipment necessary for a complete turnkey project. The successful bidder also must demonstrate that they possess and have demonstrated they possess the appropriate licenses and certifications, equipment, and experience to complete the project. The funds for the city campus project are included in the 2024 budget. A request for bids was prepared by city engineering staff and advertised per statutory requirements. 3 bids were received. The results are as follows. TNT Exteriors, $86,377. KGJ Roofing, $98,850.72. Progressive Services, Inc., $148,714. Staff recommends awarding the construction contract for city campus roof replacement, City of Shola project number FM 4223 to TNT Exteriors in an amount not to exceed $86,377.
Easy for you to say, right? Any questions or comments? Real quick, that part that you said they had to be certified and all that other stuff, how come that came about? And you never hear that with any other, is it a different kind of roofing, different kind of material?
No, it's actually this, I copied and pasted from the legal ad, and that was kind of a remnant from that. But we do that in all of our bid advertisements. We say they have to have all the licenses.
I kind of thought so, but I just never heard you say it. I just making sure this wasn't a specialty roofing.
No, we usually just leave that off the staff summary, but that was something.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments or motions? Someone? Vice Mayor.
I move to award the construction contract for city campus roof replacement, City of Shola project number FM-4223 to TNT Exteriors in an amount not to exceed $86,377.
Got a motion. I need a second. Second by Councilman Hatch. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Okay, next item on the agenda, consideration of awards construction contract for aquatic center door and window replacement project number, City of Shola project number FM 3724. Mr. Cup.
Mayor and council. The City of Shola extended an invitation for sealed bids for the aquatic center door and window replacement, City of Shola project number FM 3724 for furnishing all labor, material, equipment, removal, cleanup, transportation, and services for the replacement of doors and windows. Project is located at the Shola Aquatic Center, 1100 West Deuce Clubs. The work includes, but is not necessarily limited to, providing and installing 18 47-inch by 22-inch windows, 4 191-inch by 96-inch glass doors with right-hand sliders, and 4 191-inch by 96-inch glass doors with left-hand sliders. Request for bids was prepared by city engineering staff and advertised per statutory requirements. 3 contractors attended the mandatory pre-bid conference, but only 1 bid was received. The results are as follows. American Commercial Contracting, Inc., $223,104. This bid amount exceeded the budget of $125,000. Since only a single bid was received, staff negotiated with the contractor to reduce the scope of the project to get a portion of the work completed. The new scope includes replacing all 18 windows and 2 doors for a cost of $123,189.23. Staff also included a force account in the amount of $1,800 to address unforeseen issues with drywall, framing, etc. that may be encountered during construction. The force account can only be charged to after both parties agree to the charges. The revised cost is $124,989.23. Staff recommends awarding the construction contract for the Aquatic Center door and window replacement, City of Show Low project number FM 3724 to American Commercial Contracting, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $124,989.23.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I do have one. So we're going to do partial? Is that, I mean, we're not going to do all the windows?
We're going to do all the windows at the lower level. There's 8 doors.
Right.
And I talked to Becca. I told her that we can't do the whole project with the budget that we have, and asked her which doors, if she had a preference, she would replace. And she pointed out that the far left and the far door that go out to the patio are probably the most important. So we're going to replace those. There's some of those middle doors actually still work a little bit, but the ones that she wants to replace are in worse shape as well.
Then I guess my follow-up would be, if I was a contractor and I'm going to come and do those 8, when I come back and do the other ones, it's going to be more. So because we're doing some of it because it's not in the budget to do all of it. I understand that, but what if when we come back and the budget comes back and to do the other ones, is the contractor, since it's the only contractor too, I don't know, he's on the job. I just don't, I don't know how you guys feel, but it just seems like I think we should try to do it all, or I don't know. I personally don't like doing partial. And I understand the budget, I understand money, but if a guy comes, it's like a guy putting asphalt down and hey, by the way, you can do this over here if you do it while you're there. That's kind of what I was thinking.
And it's simply a recommendation from staff. Council obviously has the final decision on this. So however you want us to proceed. If we do that, we'll probably have to come back to another council meeting because we have to find where the funds would come from to finish that project.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I just throwing that out there. I'd sure like to see us kind of look at doing it all or getting more bids, or I don't know. One bid scares me to begin with, but then doing some and coming back and doing some later and some later. And if we end up doing overall, we're going to spend it all anyway. So I don't know.
Well, I think you have a good point, sir. It's we were just trying to get as much project done with the budget that we had.
Sure.
I kind of agree. I don't want to see us cost to bring someone else back up or wherever.
And they're not from here, right?
Snowflake.
They're from Snowflake? Okay, what's your guys's? I'd like to see us.
Mayor, you have a budget constraint, so if you want to do that, you're gonna have to take it from somewhere else. And about the only place that I can think of right now is out of the council's budget. So if that's what you want to do, we can do that, but understand it's probably coming from there.
Well, I'd just like to think about it a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, one of the things that we were talking about is that to go ahead and do these ones this year and then next year budget to do the remaining ones. And that was kind of what we were thinking, is in the next budget year to do that. And maybe we'd get more bids, maybe it'd be a little more competitive. But right now, to go ahead with this so we can get this done and get it going, and then next year come and finish up the rest of it.
So do we have it in the budget to do the rest of it next year?
We haven't done the budget yet, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, are we putting it in the budget?
Put that in there and try to finish up the rest of it.
I don't know.
I mean, we're halfway through our, is that, I mean, I guess.
Go ahead, yeah.
We're halfway through our budget, Morgan, is that what we're at right now?
Not quite, but close.
Close. I mean, we have 300,000 our council contingency, and I don't think that we have anything on the horizon. Seems as good as a project as any to do it with, so.
I know they had a lot of, I don't know if they still do, or those windows that are, they're leaking, right? They're sweating, they're getting, I just hate to see us do.
And I think there's some rust too, at least I've been there with my family and, you know, trying to get in and out those areas it takes a little bit to open them and close them and stuff, so. And I mean, and you know, maybe this is a question for Bill. I mean, the pool was built when I was in 7th grade, and so are these the original ones that have been there for?
Yes.
So I mean, we've gotten 35 years out of them for the life of them. So I mean, it's been we've yeah.
And I think, I'll turn it over to the Vice Mayor, but it seems like if we go back to the contractor and say, hey, the council's concerned, let's work some more, you know, let's bring it down some more, let's do it all, but Vice Mayor.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, and I don't believe that looking at a future replacement of the aquatic center is on the CIP for 20 years.
Oh, it's in 2029.
Coming up, but it's in 2 years.
Two?
2020,
Is that the planning or feasibility study? What are we looking at?
The whole thing.
We're gonna spend this money now and we're gonna start replacement shortly thereafter.
And
That's a concern.
that actually played into our thought processes. How many funds do we want to spend on a facility that we know is going to be replaced?
In the CIP that we're gonna approve next, Vice Mayor, it looks like it's a new aquatic center phase 1 design is $560,000 in 2026, and then
10 million in 2029.
Yeah.
Construction.
But
So
this will
that's
get us
just-
through until we do the replacement project, which I don't think that the current windows are gonna get us through until that time period. Right?
They will. Yeah, with the replaced
New ones.
The new ones
The new
will.
ones.
current ones.
The current ones.
The current sliding doors that we excluded from the project, I think that saved us about $125,000. And I don't know what the condition is, though. I don't know how repairable those are.
Slidable they are at all.
7th grade, it's 30+ years old. How old are you, Brad? 30?
44, buddy.
And bragging about.
So let me ask you, Morgan, so what do it sounds like the biggest concern is, obviously, we don't know, put the money into it, is it a waste? But we're not gonna get to 2029 with the windows we have.
Right.
So what can we do?
Mayor, that's what we just said. We're gonna do 125,000 this year, and then we projected next year to replace the rest of them.
No, but if we wanna take it out of the,
All right now, that's okay. It's just the only place, and Justin, you can tell me if I'm wrong, the only place I can think of right now is to take it out of the council contingency budget.
and that's
You have any other ideas?
scary to do, right? Why wouldn't we consider that?
Well, you can, and just, if there's another project that comes up, realize that that money's gone if you have another project that comes up. I just want you to understand the realities of it.
I don't know, you guys think it's that important to do it all at once?
Concerned about mismatch between
Talk about it back to us in a week or two, or what? Is that possible?
We're not meeting again till January 16th, guys.
How long's this bid good for?
Technically, I believe 45 days is what the bid documents say. I also believe that the contractor would work with us and keep his bid in place unless something happened on his supply side. You know, the materials are the biggest chunk of this project, so.
So if we think about it, until after the first of the year, we're really not losing anything. Correct?
Maybe not. I would suspect that he would go back to his suppliers and get fresh numbers on it. So they may change. I don't think they're gonna change 25%, but, you know, they may go up a couple percentage points.
Always worried about is with the way that, the economy's working.
So what if we approve this? Here's a thought. What if we approve this and then bring it back to us,
Change order.
the change order with the council contingency after the first of the year? Is that hunky dory? Because it sounds like the council's all kind of looking, let's do it all type thing to get to there. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve, consideration to approve the center door and window project number FM 3724. I have a motion. I need a second. I'll second it. All those in favor? Oh, go ahead.
Before we vote, so I guess the motion is we're gonna go forward with this today with staff is clear on the direction as far as we would like to do this whole project at once and bring it back to us in January for a change order.
Yeah, we don't need that part of the motion though on this.
No, I just wanna make sure
Yeah.
everybody's clear that that's the
Yeah,
intent behind it.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I got a motion. I got a second. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Sorry to beat that up for you, but I don't know.
Okay. We're here for you guys.
Next item on the agenda is consideration of approval of a 5-year capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2025 to 2029. We already know one part of it.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city of Show Low is required by city code to have an approved 5-year capital improvement plan, CIP. CIP is a planning tool to look ahead, 5 years ahead, to plan and prioritize the city's needs. The program is administered by an advisory committee that consists of city staff and representatives from city council. Prior to the advisory committee meeting, a public notice is issued seeking recommendations for capital project requests. Every requester that provides contact information receives a written response from staff, and staff received 0 requests this year. The first year of the CIP 2025 includes any projects that were not funded in the fiscal year 2024 budget. The 2025 projects are the committee's top priorities. However, it is understood that not all projects can be funded. The budget process will be the final determinant of which projects receive funding. Only projects over $50,000 are included in the CIP. Smaller projects will be accounted for in each department's operations budget. Each project listed in the CIP has a detailed capital outlay project sheet which identifies the project, its costs, potential funding sources, and a timetable. Detailed cost estimates and maps are also included with the worksheets when appropriate. Staff held a meeting with the advisory committee on October 24th, 2023, in which time the CIP was recommended for approval by the committee. Staff recommends that council approve the 5-year capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2025 to 2029.
Thank you, Mr. Kopp. Any questions, comments? 5-year plan or motions? Councilman Clark.
I'll move to approve the 5-year capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2025 to 2029 for the city of Shoal.
Got a comment or you want to?
No, in a second.
Second by Vice Mayor. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is consideration of approval of the Third Amendment to the Show Low Bluff Development Agreement. I believe Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So, on December 7th, 2010, we entered into an agreement with Show Low Bluff. There was various entities at that time, and then it was revised in 2015 with an amended development agreement to have SRH Holdings LLC as the owner of the property. And we also revised our technical master plan at that time. And then in 2019, we approved a second amendment to the Show Low Bluff Development Agreement, whereas SRH Holdings was substituted as the developer of the property. The third amendment to the Show Low Bluff Development Agreement addresses the Show Low Event Center project. So the city is seeking to enhance the commerce and recreation through the development of the Show Low Event Center project, which would utilize land within the Show Low Bluff development and is held by SRH Holdings LLC. So the project would benefit the city, SRH Holdings, and the Shoal Bluff Development. The project is described as an indoor and outdoor sports and recreation complex. So this agreement, SRH Holdings has agreed to deed to the city approximately 9.5 acres to the Shoal Bluff Development for the Shoal Event Center project. That proposed 9.5 acres comprises parcels 210, 2836 and 210, 2837. Upon mutual agreement, an additional adjoining approximately 16.66 acres will be deeded upon the beginning of construction of the Shoal Event Center. Those comprise parcels 210, 2833, 34, 35, and 41. The city also has an option to purchase additional adjoining property for the project. City and SRH Holdings agree that the development of the Shoal Event Center will necessarily place additional demands on the city infrastructure and the Shoal Bluff development. Therefore, SRH Holdings agrees to commence construction of the Wilford Bridge on or before the construction of the Shoal Event Center project, or the previously set residential unit maximum, whichever occurs first. So the Shoal Bluff development has committed 170 acres of open space. Not less than 100 of that is to be dedicated to parks sites, so the city will credit SRH Holdings on a 1-to-1 ratio for the deeded land towards their commitment towards parks, athletic fields, and open spaces in the development. So the city of the Shoal Event Center project is obviously subject to available funds, and therefore if we don't use that land, it'll revert back to SRH Holdings after 5 years. And the other land will revert after 8 years if we have not begun construction on the Shoal Event Center athletic fields. All the other provisions of the development agreement shall remain as agreed upon on February 17th, 2015. So I know, Rachel, can you pull up the map, or somebody pull up the map?
I don't believe it was in the presentation.
Presentation, okay. I don't know if you guys can see the map. So the yellow part there is what is the 9.5 acres to start. And then you'll see some colors around there. That's the additional acreage for the fields. And this is along, you can see Penrod Road there to the east. So you can kind of get a feel. Wilford Road will go right kind of in front of the yellow one there, and that's kind of the location of this area. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions or comments? I don't. So within the what'd you say, 9 years?
So 5 years to begin the event center, and
5 years.
and then a few additional years to do the athletic fields, basically 8 years total.
Okay. Other questions or comments, or entertain a motion?
Found it?
We all went to maps.
I move to approve the third amendment to the Shoal Bluff Development Agreement and authorize the mayor to sign the amendment, the agreement, excuse me.
Got a motion, got a second. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. Yes.
I just want to say something if I can.
Yes.
I'd just like to thank staff. I know they've worked really hard on this, and I know it was a lot of work, and it took a long time, and a lot of patience, and I just want to thank all those who were involved, and it's a good thing.
Okay, next item on the agenda is summary current events. Any council members got any? Councilman Adams.
Sorry.
You're on a roll. Go.
On a roll. You know, I just want to compliment staff again, sorry, about the lights in Main Street and the Reed Head House and how amazing they look. Rick and his group and all those involved have been amazing. They look awesome. I've had a lot of compliments, and I'm just really excited to, this is our home. They did a good job taking care of it. Looks beautiful.
Vice Mayor.
I ditto what Councilman Adams has said, and I'm just so proud of our community and how our community looks, and our staff, and how the leaders train them and develop them, even with the water project information that we got tonight. You know, it's not easy to keep those employees trained and able to jump in and do what needs to be done. And also, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, I just want to echo what has already previously been said about the living in the city of Show Low. This last week, I was able to go to the Feast of Carols that's put on by the Show Low the Showbiz. I think they're the ones who are the royalty there, and it's the performing arts at the high school and the junior high. It was in its 39th year. Scott Gentry started that 39 years ago, and Cynthia Whipple, who's the music director at the high school, did a phenomenal job. The production was amazing. The kids did phenomenal. I was sitting there in Whipple Ranch, and you really do feel like you're transported back into medieval times. So it's something that we take our family to every year, and it's really indicative of our community and just the traditions that we carry on. I want to thank those who participated in the community fast, as well as the community gathering there on Sunday. It was a great opportunity kind of to come together and to just feel that community spirit, especially at this time of year. I know that the schools on Thursday, my son has a choir concert for the second graders. There's multiple performances going on at our auditorium and stuff, and it's really cool to see how our community comes together at this time of year. It kind of feels like we live in a Hallmark movie sometimes, and it's really great to be here and to see this time of year where everybody just kind of really echoes the Christmas spirit. So I want to thank the community for being so diligent, and as well as staff. I echo what has been said about the lights and the downtown area, the Reed Head Home, City Hall. Everything looks phenomenal, and it just really gets you in the Christmas spirit and really kind of reminds us of how great it is to live in this community. So thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. That's when you know you have a good council. Now I have nothing to say because they thanked everybody. But just a reminder that the animated and the radio, there's more decorations at City Park now than there was right out here by City Hall. That's all at City Park now. So we tried to move it out there like it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. But ditto what everybody up here said, and have a great Christmas. Be safe. A Happy New Year. I believe city manager is going to talk about the New Year's Eve, but just be safe out there and enjoy the season. It's not even snowing and it's cold, but it's not snow. But once that snow hits those lights, this is definitely a Hallmark town. So thank you all for your comments, because now I'm cut off. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So we do appreciate all that our staff did to get the city ready for the light parade and the decorations, and it looks great. It's on full display, so we hope you enjoy that. But we do have some other family-friendly events to celebrate for the holidays. On December 14th, there's a flashlight candy cane hunt that's going to be held at the senior field at the city park. That's Thursday, December 14th. It's for kids ages 12 and under. For more information, you can call 532-4130. The library is also hosting our Polar Express Night. That's a family event on December 15th, starting at 4:15 p.m. Tickets are required for everyone who plans to attend, are available at the library on a first-come, first-served basis. Call 532-4070 for more information. And the final event of the year, as the mayor mentioned, is our Deuce of Clubs drop on New Year's Eve. That's December 31st in front of the public library. It begins at about 11 p.m., followed by the drop of the giant card, and then there's some fireworks at midnight. I think those are over at the Frontier Field. So we hope you enjoy those events that are coming up. Just as a reminder, our aquatic center does remain closed. We're doing annual maintenance and also some work on the bathrooms in there, so we're hoping to reopen on December 28th. We appreciate everyone's patience during the closure. During our community fast event that ended a couple of weeks ago, but we're still accepting donations. If you want to help your fellow citizens in the holiday season, you can make those contributions at the City Hall or at local banks, National Bank, Chase Bank, or the Arizona Central Credit Union. I believe so far they've raised close to $50,000 is what I understand. After the holidays, you can recycle your Christmas tree from December 26th through Sunday, January 7th by dropping it off. You have to have all the decorations and lights removed and put it in the designated area at the Frontier Park parking lot that's north of the Deuce of Clubs on 9th Place. The trees are then taken to Novo Power and Snowflake and used as biomass fuel. And as I indicated earlier, this is our last regular council meeting for 2023. Wish everyone a Merry Christmas, safe holidays, and our next regular meeting will be on January 16th, 2024.
Thank you. I want to thank the council especially for, it's a long night tonight, and we're not used to this. Usually we're half hour or an hour, or sometimes 15 minutes. So when you want to miss a couple council meetings, this is what happens. So think about that. Anyway, a schedule of meetings before that next one.
Next meeting is January 16th. I would remind everyone, though, there is a mayor and council members meeting next week on December 12th up in Pine Top at noon, going over the legislative update. That's at the Pine Top Lakeside Town Hall.
Appreciate that. Okay, at this time, we need to go in, next item on the agenda is go into executive session. We're to discuss and consult with legal advice and our attorney. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Got a motion? I need a second. All those in favor of going to executive session? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you guys for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Sorry we kept you so late.